Hey everyone, so we're back with this tank. The door is all sealed up, it's dried, it's cured, it's ready to go. No more of that stank in there, you know what I mean? Everything's ready, looks nice. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Everything's sealed really well. That tape method worked great. So, like I said too, there's these little teeny extra pieces that flopped over that have dried, and I can take a razor and just slice right along them. You could even just use your fingers if you want and grab them and pull them off. I think honestly that'd probably be easier to just grab these little pieces and rip them out. But it really isn't even that bad at all on these. So I'm going to get it loaded up now. We're going to put the soil in. We're going to put some cork bark in here, different panels. I'm going to take some of the pieces out of Cindy's current tank now that I have her in and put in here as well. So she's going to be a little stirred around. Just pull some things out, leave her in there until this one's ready, get it all set up. And I'm going to transfer her over. It's going to be a pretty simplistic build for this. I mean, in nature, these guys are often on trees and inside tree bark flaps and under the tree bark. So that's why I wanted this full vertical cork background, just to give that entire area to climb. But then also I have some big slate stone that where she really likes to hang out the most, but then also some bark pieces that she's often on as well. But I've got my cork panels actually, or the cork tiles that I've talked about that I don't use for the backgrounds, but I break apart and then make my own, as we saw with this one. But I have some of those that I'll break just enough because they're very long. So those will be great long pieces to just put in here at an angle, maybe a couple of them, and she'll have that entire piece to go almost the height of the tank on different areas where she pleases. So yeah, let's get going. Let's put some dirt in this thing. Nice. So my soil is a mix of several different things. I changed it up really based on the ecosystem I'm trying to make, such as this tank back here, which is a very tropical, humid paludarium. So it's got quite moist soil. So this one's got a lot of sphagnum moss in it and different types of soil mixes that I mix together to hold moisture well. But it also has a high amount of pumice because I want it to be aerated enough to where it's not just soaked all the time and that it drains well. This is going to be kind of a medium one. I want there to be humidity held. These whip scorpions, they want humidity. They like that. That's not natural for their environments. But I don't want it to be soaked. It's not going to be as moist or wet. Ew, that word, huh? I'm just kidding. I don't give a shit about that word for all you freaks. But this soil is going to be much more wet than this soil. So, but then if I'm doing an arid tank, which I've done in the past, I will pretty much just use that play sand and soil mix. But I might even bake the soil that I use, like Repti soil or something, and then do a 70-30 or 50-50, whatever you want to do mix, and probably do some aeration in it as well, just because. And then you could do a drainage layer as well. I've done arid tanks with drainage layers, and I know some people like to get their feathers all ruffled up and, be the Debbie Downers and say, you don't need a drainage layer in an arid tank. But I mean, maybe you're going to do some live plants and you're going to have some sections in your arid tank that are going to be a little bit more of a slightly different soil composition, where you do have those plants planted and they do need to have a little bit more of a damp soil for their roots. And at that point, they're a drainage layer in an arid tank would be great. So, and also when people argue that you don't need arid or drainage layers in arid tanks, I mean, is it hurting anything when the people do it? Like, who cares? Just my thoughts. But yeah. So for this one, my soil, I use organic compost mix. I use Repti soil. I use pumice, sphagnum, and I use activated charcoal. So the pumice is the aeration, helps with that. You can use perlite or leca, the clay balls. I actually have a mix of leca in this as well. But pumice is my main aeration ingredient for my soils. I just like pumice. And um, the soils you use, I mean, you can use whatever topsoils you like. I like the organic compound mix. It's got a lot of different nutrient bases in it, and it's organic. It holds moisture well. Um, the charcoal's great too. Another nutrient. It sweetens soil. It actually also helps with pulling nasty odors out of the soil, which, like for a tank like a paludarium, that's going to be quite humid all the time. Sometimes you can get some funky smells coming from your soil in a fully bioactive system. Charcoal is great for that. It naturally helps neutralize odor. So great for that as well. And then the nutrients that it's adding to the mix of soil just helps with everything in the cycle. I like it. I find that it works great. I think some people don't, but it does. Read a soil book. So yeah, that's what's in this one. Oh, and I know in the past, I think I had a video, I talk about sphagnum and peat moss, and I say they're the same exact thing. It doesn't matter. Some people say they're different. Just for all you stiflers out there, they're the same species if you're talking about the moss only. They're just different stages, I guess, of life or decomposition or both. Where sphagnum is the live version, and it's either going to be live and green or dried out and brown, but it's in its dormant state, which I've talked about. But if you give it enough moisture and humidity regularly, it will actually come back out of dormancy and return to growing new buds and be green. Peat is dead, partially decomposed sphagnum that is actually a part of the soil makeup. And it could be dead for decades or centuries or thousands of years, whatever. But I guess that's the difference. Sphagnum is alive, whether it's living or dormant, both are living, but growing or dormant. And peat is dead, partially decomposed sphagnum. So for this one, I'm not doing like some major drainage layer. I will have some plants in here, but it's not going to be to the point where I'm needing a drainage layer. This soil is also going to hold moisture well enough that I'm not going to be watering like crazy for the plants I do have in it. We got that little natural plant pot up here. I'm only going to put about half of the soil in it, and then when I put the plant in it, I'll fill on top of that. So this really doesn't need a lot of soil. I honestly don't even know if I'm going to plant anything down on the bottom. Probably going to get one plant put in here, some small, simple, maybe a wandering dude, something like that. Can grow in low light. They grow well. Pretty easy plant, low maintenance. As you see in here, that's a hairy wandering dude, and it's exploded in that tank. So I just want a base layer. Something also to consider with these I Heart Gecko tanks, they have quite big venting holes. And if you're using small, medium, maybe even large crickets, can get through these holes. They're big enough holes for that. Now, yeah, they do sell an option that has these circled screened vents. They're a little bit more expensive, but they were sold out of those and didn't know when they'd be back when I wanted to buy this one. So I just went with the slotted vents like this. So there's this one line, the row down here on the bottom, and then there's these 2 rows up here. In my experience, crickets usually can't ever climb glass or acrylic well, if at all. So I don't think it should be an issue, especially keep enough space right here from the bottom ones. I don't think it'll be a problem with them climbing out. But if you do have soil right up to those, or the crickets happen to be able to get some climbing going, these are definitely big enough they can come out. So you might have to buy yourself some like little mesh screen or metal screen, whatever you want, and inside or outside, silicone the edges or the center of it and cover those up would be a good method. But yeah, door works. Not bad. Holds nice. All right. Sick. All right. So I went and got some of the stuff. Water bowl. I have these nice little natural looking little logs kind of things. Looks real inside also. Just a shallow, nice water dish. Helps with humidity. If they ever want to come and drink, they can. I always put a sponge in my water bowls for any inverts that I have, whether tarantulas, scorpions, whips, I don't, whatever it is. I give them the option, and I put the sponges in because you hear about it. People say like they'll prefer to drink from it. Um, I don't just think that or I just heard it. I know it personally. I've had multiple tarantula species through the years that I have personally watched and seen drink directly from the sponge in their water bowl. And they prefer that over drinking from the open water. So definitely worth having in there to give them that option if they prefer to drink out of that. And these were arid species and they wanted water when they wanted it, and they drank it out of the sponge, not from the bowl itself. So I think worth having in there. I've never seen her drink out of it. When I've seen her drink, it's after like a heavy misting or something, and she'll actually use those big feeder that they have, their pedipalps that are super awesome, and she actually scrapes a surface, whether it's the glass or a rock, and she'll scrape the surface and then drink it off her arm, and scrape the surface and drink it off her arm. Super cool behavior. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I've never seen her drink from the bowl, but I still keep it in here. Plus, for any springtails isopods, underneath it and around it, it's always a great environment that they seem to love to hang out around, because there's always springtails and isopods mixed into my tanks. My whole soil bin just has them because I have such a healthy population of them with all of my soils. They're just all over, so they're always mixed in, which is great. So I got a couple pieces that are pretty cool. This one kind of has that natural little hide in it, some cool little holes, got some really nice character. So this would be a good, I think, lower level chunk, something real simple. Some more moss that I've got. And actually, you know what? I want to do that. I want to mix more sphagnum into my soil right now. Okay. It's already had a little bit in it, but I just want to put some more just to help keep this more damp longer. Not a ton, just enough for me. Because I also miss my tanks regularly, so I'm not worrying about them ever drying out or having to hold moisture because I won't be able to do it. I like the water bowls at the front. I think most people do if they're using water bowl. It's just easy access, easy to take in and out, clean when you need to, fill up when you need to. So here you can see some sphagnum. This moss is obviously it's alive, but it's currently dormant. It's too dry to where this is growing constantly, but it's still living moss. It's just needs to have a higher humidity rate to be able to keep growing. But this is another really cool piece of bark that I have. Very cool little hide structure, kind of little cave. We'll use this one too. Kind of just have the moss sitting on it loosely. It's not glued on or anything. It's not attached, but it stays where it is. So just putting them in, however, nothing specific here. We'll see how I like it after. Let me change it more. Just giving her all the different options for different heights and levels and where she can or can't go. That's all I'm trying to do. All right. So close up here, you can see the soil mixture, how high it is up to this first row of venting I was talking about. And there's still a good 1.5 inches probably up to that venting. So no problems there. This is what I'm talking about for the crickets. I think pretty big, but I don't think they'll even be climbing it. So not too worried. But the water bowl in the front, got these couple pieces of bark. Kind of liking that right now. So from this angle, you can see big, nice cave in there. And they tend to like pretty tight spaces. I mean, they'll go under any cave type hide that they can, but they really seem to like them if they're actually close and closed. So that's another cool one that should go up underneath. A little bit of soil in that. But I'm going to break down my tile pieces that I have. This box here that I didn't have last time when I was talking about them with you guys on this build. So this is the box of bulk tile, cork panel, whatever, that I get. And then I use these and break them apart and do what I want to get the chunks to then build the backgrounds how I want to build them with different thicknesses and looks. And this is what I like because these always come with completely different pieces. They're not all exactly the same. This specific brand, which I don't know right now, but I can put a link to it. But this brand, always these tiles, however many are in here, 10 or 15 or I don't know, something, but I think it's 10 tiles, maybe 8 tiles. Yeah, I think 8 tiles per pack. And they're like 15 inches by 11 or so. But they come with totally different looks. They're all different thicknesses, different characteristics. And I love that because then I can mix and match and play with however I want. Okay, so I'm gonna move this guy over. I'm gonna bust this open. Probably should save this shrink wrap I can reuse for my sandwiches. Sick. This goes over there like usual. Yeah, so you can see different thicknesses of all of these sheets. Some have thicker ends and thinner ends. Some are just overall really thin. Some are pretty thick, like one in the couple in the middle that are 1/2 inch or so. But yeah, very different characteristics of each panels, different looks. This is a real thin one. Some darker edges, pretty light in this centerpiece. This one is a thicker piece, got some real thick outer bark edges. Kind of burnt looks on it almost, darker brown, very cool. These darker edges. And a lot of times these come with moss and lichen attached to them, which is great. It's awesome. It just more character. Like this one here has a bunch of moss on it. As you can see, if you can see all the moss that's on this thing, this panel, and different lichen on it, I like that. I mean, you never know. Maybe these mosses are dormant and they'll start growing with enough humidity. You get some cool free moss on there. That piece is kind of cool. This one. This is a real thick, grainy piece. This one's pretty cool. Some really deep textures in here. Deep. Comes with moss. A lot of moss on it. That one's pretty super skinny, plain. All looks the same. A little bit of moss. Oh, that's a nice one. This piece is pretty thick. Half an inch thick. Definitely some grainy pieces, some moss, some nice colors. So what I want to do with these, I just want probably like 2 more pieces of bark because these are pretty long. So I'm just probably going to break them in half or something like that and just put a couple of them going opposite ways inside the tank just to give some more options for height and climbing. So how do we break them? Don't want to ruin these perfect panels, huh? And that's exactly what I want to do. I'm going to ruin them. Ooh, I don't know which ones I like. I really like that light chunk going up. Looks pretty cool. And a lot of times when I break things, I mean, you see the natural grooves in these bark. That's where a lot of them, they're going to snap in those natural grooves. So kind of play with that. And how thick or thin do you want it? I don't know. How do you want it? How do you feel? Coming up? Okay, that's enough of that. Yep, all right. So that one, just like that. First step. First step in breaking hearts. Take action. Just like that. I like that. That's that lighter colored middle. Has some different character now, some shape to it. Can break off in like pointed edges. You don't like that? I don't like it. The straight edge, factory cut edges on the top and bottom are what they are for longer pieces like this. But something like this can then go in there, you know, and I'll use these on future builds exactly the way I did in this background. Setting them up where I want them, how I want them. What other? I like this piece. I like that real grainy. One had a lot of moss. This one too. Which one? This one? Or this one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. This one. Okay. This one's going to be funky to break. I don't know how it's going to even... Whoop. Well, that one broke weird. That's okay. That's how I wanted to break. It's exactly how I do that when I build big chunks. All right. Well, this piece is all right. I don't really like the kind of boring. Almost like this one better. Yeah, I do. And I like that. So, I'll move some things around, get the tank ready. All right. Put this back over here. Those are the pieces. I'm going to throw in some leaf litter. Cool. And for my leaf litter, I don't buy leaf litter. I collect my own. And then I dry and sanitize the leaves myself. You can boil them if you'd like. I've done it before, you know, for a while, boil them up, they say, for, I don't know, however long you want, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. I think if you boil something for 2 minutes, it's going to be sanitized. But that also is going to strip them of a lot of the nutrients, I believe. I mean, that makes sense to me that it would. And maybe not everything, but definitely going to pull some things out of them. But I don't know. You could take the risk and not do it yourself or do it. I've done both. I've never had problems either of the ways. So but I typically get maple, so like Acer genus, and apple, that I think is Malus genus. Those typically the trees that I use for leaf litter. It's maple and apple. They both have really great phosphorus, nitrogen levels. So a lot of really good nutrients that when they break down and decompose into the soil, they're giving that soil the nutrients it needs. For the plants to uptake, it just helps with the full cycle. Good parent material, leaf litter. So yeah, all right. Now we can play with all these. So you can see how high these couple pieces will go inside here, most of the way up. I thought about doing some things where I maybe glue some horizontal pieces in here, but I was really thinking about her activity, her as in Cindy, short for Cinderella. Okay. And I don't really think she would utilize a horizontal like cork branch or cork tube often. But then again, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe she would if she had it. But just based on how she's always maneuvered in her current setup, she likes to be on these pieces of flat behind them, tight spaces. So I think these flatter ones, just at vertical sets, being put at vertical places. I mean, even something like this, which, yeah, from the back might not look that great because you're just going to see the inside of the bark, which kind of just plain and ugly. But from the front of the tank, looks great. And I mean, the critter ain't going to care at all if I'm looking, but it's also still a great viewing opportunity for me. So I can see her wherever she's at in all these spots, but she still feels like she's hidden well and has that full cover that she would like. So maybe I got to do another skinny bottom like this. This is a pretty cool piece like that. I like the look of that one. What do I want to do here, huh? Take these out just because. So I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't know how I want to do that. Maybe maybe I don't use this piece. Maybe we break another one. How about that? Shoot, maybe this one. Could even flip this guy over. Ooh, that's pretty cool. That actually gets pretty hugged tight to the back on there, which is pretty sweet. And another little option in here. Like that. Ooh, yeah, I like that. I'm liking how those are sitting now. Nice and secure too. closed background, pretty tight, especially this one, dark. It's close to the background. That'd be nice. And this doesn't have to be forever either. I may still move things around. I may change this up. I might put different pieces, add new ones, different bark. We'll see. Maybe get inspired on a random day for something a little different. Okay. Just to get rid of some of that factory edge. It's just slightly better, in my opinion, to be broken up. Give that long piece to go up. And then another one, kind of layered on top. Again, I'm gonna break that edge a bit. Oops, broke a big chunk. That's okay. Just looks slightly better. This is starting to look like South America. Funny. I'm liking that. So now there's a lot of different coverage inside. Let's take a look. So, still not utilizing all the height, but like I said, I'll throw some more in, get it figured out. Sorry for the glare there, but you can see. So now we have this whole layer, that layer, this piece that I was talking about. Kind of hard to see, but that's up pretty tight to the background, especially at the top. More up here, that looks cool. There's all those different layers now, and that tends to be where she likes to really go. So this is already, I mean, a lot more climbing space than she had while she was in a 10-gallon with a horizontal setup. Because there were pieces, but they were all only so high. Now she has all these different layers, and the entire background can go inside this one, which is nice and dark. Back inside there, it's pretty cool. And I'll probably add some more in here. I'm going to throw in a little plant. I think I'm going to put a little wandering dude. I've got a propagation going that's about 5 inches long. I'll stick in there, see how it grows. Should do all right. It's been in pretty low light, so I think it would do fine. But yeah, great. And I might even stick some pieces, and if you need to even just super glue a piece to really keep it secure, none of these are going to move that are in here now. But if I put a piece, let's say from this one up higher to the top, because I want to utilize all that overhead space up in here and the vertical space, you may want to just put a dab of super glue and a dab of super glue up on the glass. And the super glue on glass, it'll come right off. Once it's totally dried, you can just use a razor scraper and it'll peel it right off. You don't have to worry about it damaging the glass. But that could just help keep one secure. Okay, so still in the same spot. I just got a couple more pieces of equipment to use. So this is the plant that I'm going to put in there. It's just a hairy wandering dude. I don't remember the scientific name, but I can put that somewhere in here, in this area. Imagination, you know? But yeah, this is just one of the little propagations that I took out of my main first plant. And I have several of these, and they all do great. They grow well. They're super easy, low light. I think any wandering dude, like there's so many different colors and varieties and of them, and a lot of them are really, really beautiful plants with the different. I've seen light purples and dark purples and bright pinks, and all the different colors are so cool, and they do really well in especially humid tanks like that. I think they'll do okay in here. I mean, this one's growing in the exact same soil that I have in the tank already, and it's been doing good. It's slow growing compared to this, which obviously, this is a more suitable environment for that species. So that thing's been growing like crazy, but this thing's still doing fine. It's growing. It's put off new shoots as well. So it's a good thing. It's growing fine. So yeah. And when I use super glue for anything, I don't think brand really matters. Super glue, once it cures, it's cured. I just like the gel super glue. So then it's not all runny and all over the place. Holds firm and puts something where you want it. If I use it, I don't know if I will. Handy dandy tongs in case I want to help push that plant deeper. But what I'm actually going to do is take some of the moss that I had sitting on that bark chunk, and I'm going to break it up and put it inside that little plant pot. And that will actually help to keep that especially more damp for the plant. Just make it a little easier for the plant to be able to root through some sphagnum. So break up the plant pot, break up the soil so it's not holding on super tight. Doing this over my bin. I don't hope you guys can see that. Yeah. Oh wow. This thing's definitely been rooting well. I don't know. It's already rooting and bounding around the outside. So definitely growing. Just gonna get most of it off, not all of it, because I'm not trying to bare root it or anything. Just enough to where it fits inside there, and I can put a little more on top of it. But if I actually break up these a little bit, probably help the plant, because now these roots are actually going to have a lot more freedom. They're not going to be bound inside the little pot. They can grow not only just within the pot that I put them in that cork, but they'll be able to go wherever, through it and behind it, and wherever it wants to go. I keep trying to reach into the top. Okay. That's perfect too, because the next little sprouts coming in the front. And this plant, I think, obviously they want to grow up. They're going to go wherever the sun, but they're going to aim to wherever the closest light source is, which for where this is going to be, it's going to come this way. But as the ones in here are, when they have to, they'll actually droop down and then turn and come back up. So I think it'd be really cool if this grows long enough to droop down and come back. We'll see how it does. So I'm going to use that. Nice. Guys, we get a better look here. Pretty sweet. Filled it up pretty much to the top, packed it down. It's got that thick layer of sphagnum in the middle of it. That'll help with the moisture, keep that soil pocket a little more damp, which will help the plant. Pretty cool. Nice little simple touch. But I actually busted out a couple cork tubes I have. This one's big, too big for this, and I don't want to cut it. This is a really nice piece, pretty slim cork, but also got this badass little tube I like. It's kind of got a twist in it, and then it's got this little sharp angle, almost a 90 that it takes. Pretty sweet. A lot of little character on this piece that I like a lot. It's a good little chunk. And I think I'm going to put this actually across the top, so that will help. It's not going to block the top or the side for the plant to get light access, but I'm going to bring it from one corner to the other out here. So then I want to keep in mind, if I have this going from the back straight to the front and it's up against these slotted vent holes that gives all the crickets or dubias or whatever you feed access to coming out of them and climbing through. If they climb up that, which they will, especially the crickets, they always go everywhere they can climb. In my tanks, they do. So that's something to be mindful of. This also gives them a place that they can hide and pretty much completely avoid the predator, because she's not going to be able to fit through this size of a round, where obviously the crickets can go in here and hide in that, and they're just safe inside there for however long. But I was playing with this, and I think it fits great. Just like this. And I actually found, an angle where this works great, where I don't have to glue it at all. It's just going to be pinched between the two edges of the tank. And I'm going to really wedge it to where it will be pinched. So just like that, I think looks awesome. Holds these down tight too. It's wedged in there very tight. It's definitely not moving. I mean, something that weighs, probably single digit grams or less than a gram is going to be, isn't going to do anything to this. This thing's not moving at all. I have it wedged in there enough. It's not going to spring out randomly unless I hit it and move it. That's never going to move. Some people might think that's unsafe, and if it falls or it can hurt them, sure, maybe. But I know it's never going to move. So I'm confident with keeping that like that. Cork is so foamy and spongy. If you wedge it in tight enough, just like this one is, and it's wedged against not only this, but the bottom piece below it, and then this is wedged between two contact points as well, the top and this side, thing ain't moving. And it's not up against the front, so crickets shouldn't be able to come through that. They can get in it, but if they do, whatever, they do. And it didn't block off the plant, which is cool. So let's take a look at that. So from the front, this is what we're working with. Got that little hairy wandering dude, a new little sprout coming out. Pretty cool. Nice and dark right now, a little bit of almost a purpley hue. And then this little tube that I just put up, which goes right up to the top, but it's not up against the front. So there's space there. So it's not going to be up against those vent holes. And then you got all the different layers that she can hide in. And then the top, I'm pretty happy with how this overall look is. And I'll give everything a good misting, and that'll pretty much be it. One of my little sprayers I use, simple, convenient, works good. Set your blast however you want. Oh, that was that build. I mean, so pretty much done. Just gonna transfer Cindy on over from her current horizontal setup to this vertical 10 gal now. And plenty of space, even for her to continue to grow. There's plenty of big space behind these different layers, especially these two big ones where she can molt freely and have plenty of area around her to molt and crawl out of that exoskeleton, and tons of area for her to go all over the place in the entire background as well. Added a live plant, which her current one doesn't have. That's a nice little touch. Looks great. Super stoked. Might even do a little bit of a Put some of the moss around the water bowl edge. Why not? That'll be help out the little cleanup crew critters. They'll enjoy that. They'll appreciate that. So yeah, done deal. Let me let's get Cindy in there, huh? Okay. Had to clean up my pigsty. I'm a pig. Had to clean up that mess. So got Cindy's current older tank, which I've taken some pieces out of, so it's pretty dismantled right now. Obviously, the water bowl transferred some things over. So it's just slate rock now in her tank. But we get her out of here, put her right into this one. Minimal stress. I could just transfer her, honestly, straight from the piece she's on into there. She'll crawl around and hide. Which is probably what I'll do. I could handle her. I have before, a couple times, a few times here and there. I don't often, just because there's really no point. I've shown her to some friends here and there, not often. Again, maybe a couple, like 2-3 times at the most. Really, there's no reason other than, you know, just personally being able to admire them. But this is more of an observational pet. It's something you just look, admire, watch the behavior, and I don't want to stress her out. But pull her out here, and if anyone's had these, you know they are lightning fast, even though they seem to go slow. So this is part of the slate rock. There she is, in all her glory. Oh, she's feeling the different wind patterns, picking up different temperatures, using those antennae. So cool, feeling around with them. She's bending them around the corners of the rock. So awesome. Can really see putting them up in the air. She probably feels my breath. I'm trying to speak nicely. Definitely the temperature of my hand. She wants to switch sides. So cool. Such a badass little critter. Oh, that spooked her a bit. So yeah, she was just getting to the size where I wanted to give her something bigger. Give her more vertical space. Let her have the whole background to climb on rather than just slate stone and smaller cork pieces that are about the same height, which is what she had. And it's big enough for her. She's able to keep molting. There's enough surface area on this for her. But like I want her to have more. So I think this is an awesome little upgrade. And she'll keep growing. But yeah, look at those antennae at work. Really feeling her surrounding. So cool. Such a gentle creature. Completely harmless. But they look so alien. All right, let's get her in there. Just let her know with her antenna on my finger, like to go that way. She's probably not going to want to come off this rock because she knows the rock, but I want her to get to that bark piece. Yeah, she's just going to keep going around this rock. Okay, I'm going to put my hand on the bottom of the rock. Excuse me, so she won't keep going to the bottom. Go that way, come on. You're all right. Okay, well, we got her off the rock. Now she's on me. Just want to get her on this. There we go. Done deal. And look at that. That's so cool. Right away, it goes up to the highest point that she can. Well, I just missed it, so you can't see anything. But so that background's working perfectly. Pretty cool. Awesome little creatures. But all right. Well, there's that. I'm gonna get this tank put in the proper place where it goes, and that's that build. Appreciate you guys watching. Come along for the next one.